Don't get me wrong, I crash out. Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jamie, and if you're new here, welcome. And as you can tell from the title of this video, these are masculine habits I've given up to live a softer life. I actually made this video on TikTok in December 2023, and the video is still getting traction. So I thought, why not make it into a long form video, as well as give like my updated views on that, because I've changed so much and I've learned so much about masculine and feminine energy dynamics, and I think it's nice to hear an updated point of view from that video. So let's get started. And I also want to say that I'm not a femininity coach or anything like that. I'm just a woman that is, and I'm constantly investing in myself and my mindset and my just everything all around, mental, physical, and emotional. And I have found that the things that I have learned about feminine energy and masculine energy have just helped me to live a better life overall. So that's the perspective that I'm coming from, of just like reconnecting with yourself as a woman, and like using your God-given innate energy that we already have to improve your life, specifically for you, not for relationship, not for anything other than just to be happier overall. So after some years of researching feminine energy and masculine energy, I have just learned a lot, especially as a woman that was operating primarily in her masculine energy. I think these were the biggest ways that I was operating in my masculine energy. And it's not to say that I can never do these things on this list that I'm about to share with you, but it's more of just like, it's recognizing that there's another way to do it. There's an easier way, there's a softer way, and just give it a try and be gentle with yourself. And just remember that feminine energy is more about being and it's less about doing. So the more you're trying and you're setting, like the more you try, then that becomes counterproductive. And so I think the easiest way to go about these things on this list is to just flow and just let it come naturally. And that was a big thing for me, is that I tried a lot. I did a lot. I efforted a lot. In reality, I don't have to do all of those things. So let's get started. Number one, the need to be in control. I am now allowing myself to surrender and allowing myself to just be more in the flow. And something that I like to say is like flow equals femininity. And I like to give the example of like a stream of water. So if you think of like the water itself, that's the feminine energy. And if you think about what contains the water, like say it's land on each side of the body of water, that's the masculine. So it's like the masculine is like the structure of it, whereas the water just flows. And you see like the masculine is kind of the one that's like in control of like the water, but the water just goes. And it's like, think of yourself trying to control the flow of that. And so now you're going upstream when you should be going downstream. So just think, I feel like control is like trying to go upstream against the current, and you're just making it so difficult for yourself. Whereas if you were to just turn around and just go with the flow of the water, it would be so much easier. And so that's what I have learned to do in my life. I'm still working on it. Don't get me wrong. I am still working on that. Still a work in progress. But I've noticed that when I just trust and I just flow with the current of the water, things go a lot smoother for me, and it just kind of carries me. And I think of that thing that carrying me is God. If you believe in God, I think that as long as we release that control and trust God, we will be guided and we will know when it's time for us to take action. I have been a very action-oriented woman and just constantly thriving and pushing and grinding and hustling. And like, there's nothing wrong with those things, but you can burn out that way. And I have found myself burning out. And so now that I've released that control in my life, in my marriage, I feel a lot happier. And that is my natural state. because a lot of times even thinking that we have control is just a false sense of control. We really don't have control like we think we do. The only thing we have control over is ourself. And so I have like released my energy of like trying to like grasp for control on like external things that I don't have control over. I feel like just taking those small moments in your day whenever you feel the need to grasp for control, release. Do the opposite. If you're at work and you're in a situation where you're trying to grasp for control, do the opposite and just release. Take a deep breath and return back to your body and breathe and connect with your breath. And just watch what happens. Let go. Instead of trying to force an outcome, let go. Let go. And I feel like that applies to every area of your life. Like if there's something that you want to happen a certain way, we really don't have control over that. So let go. Release the shackles. Like release. And I think once we are able to release, I think we find out that things actually end up working out better for us than we can imagine. And even in my previous relationships before I got married, even in my marriage too, I looked for control so much. When I was dating, I wanted control over how it was going to work out. I mean, like, just like forcing to be in a relationship with a person, whereas it's just like when you just let go and trust that there's this something greater than you that wants you to have everything you want, then it's like I feel like it's just very comforting to know that. And especially in this season of my life, I find myself going deeper with that, of just releasing control, because it's been layers. And I don't know, it's just so much peace in letting go and just trusting. Number 2, and this one is a hard one, but it's stop overthinking. I'm looking at my notes so I can remember. Feminine is the being, masculine is the doing. Chronically overthinking is a disservice to myself. Allow myself to get out of my head and into my body. So this is really big, and I feel like it goes back. I feel like these all like kind of go hand in hand, like with the anxiety, the overthinking, the need for control. It's all like they're all interconnected. But something I've learned about feminine energy, it's like it's the body. The masculine energy lives in the head space. It's very goal oriented. It thinks a lot. It's just constantly going. If you have a husband, a boyfriend, and you notice like they are just constantly in their head space. But for us to constantly be in our head space, that's not our natural state. We are supposed to be connected to our body, connected to our feelings. That's why it's really good to like move your body and to dance and to feel your feelings. And this one was big for me because I used to have really, really bad anxiety, and I had to learn how to be in my body. Like I feel like for the longest I didn't even know what that meant because I was like numb, like I could even feeling my feelings, like I could think about my feelings, but can I feel my feelings? I can tell you about it, but can I feel it? And so I feel like that's like a practice. It's like whenever you feel anything in your body, like take a moment, stop, feel where it's at. Is it in your chest? Is it in your throat? Is it in your heart? Is it in your stomach? And just sit with it and feel it and breathe and connect. And don't think about anything, just feel it. And then that, like when I tell you, that was so difficult for me to do, so small, but so difficult because I was just so used to being in my headspace, overanalyzing, figuring things out, overthinking and trying, like, you don't have to do all that. That's why if you follow the first one of letting go of control, this will naturally happen. You will naturally stop overthinking because you'll just let it be. You'll let things be. Obviously, this is if you have an urgent matter and you need to figure something out, figure it out. But putting yourself constantly in that headspace, overthinking all day long for no reason, it's going to drain all the juiciness, feminine energy right out of your body. And it's like now more I understand of just like what it truly means to connect with your body. And I think it's important to find a way to connect with your body, whether it's through dancing, Pilates, whatever your form of like workout is, whatever you like to do to move your body. and to actively, consciously think about, like, okay, if you're constantly just like in your head thinking a lot, stop, breathe, and get back in your body. I like to close my eyes and just like feel, like I'll feel my hands, take deep breaths, and just like feel that stillness, like feel my energy around me. Like you can, if you stop and you stop thinking, you can really feel, you feel something. I don't know what that is, but you feel it. Like you feel like the energy, like, you know, like pulsating, and like just like I rub my body a lot more. I touch myself gently, and I just like make sure I connect with my body every day. Even when I'm in the shower, like I feel the water against me. I feel the exfoliating glove up against my arms. I feel myself putting on the lotion. So just like really like feeling and connecting with your body as much as you can throughout the day is going to help you just release, like to shift more back into feminine energy. Number 3, and this one, all of these were hard for me because I was chronically in my masculine energy. And I also just want to say that even though I was in my masculine energy, I am so grateful that my masculine energy stepped up for me at the time that it did. When I was single and I didn't have like a masculine energy around me to, like, you know, kind of take that place. So my own energy stepped up for me, and I'm very grateful for that because it's necessary sometimes. Like if you're a single woman, you need, if you don't have like an uncle or a dad or a brother or just like a male figure in your life that can be that energy, we kind of take on that energy ourselves. And that's what I did in my life. And I'm grateful for that. So I don't want to like bash masculine energy because sometimes it feels like it's necessary and I was doing what I had to do. But I've just learned to appreciate and love my feminine energy so much. Number 3 is to stop complaining. Stop complaining and focus more on my desires. Complaining is a disservice and distasteful. Focus on what I do want instead of what I don't want. Have you ever talked to someone and all they do is complain? That shit is annoying. And now looking back, I'm like, oh my God, I was probably that person that was always complaining. And now that I understand, like complaining is just like negative affirmations. Like anytime you complain, it's like the universe is always listening. Whatever you say, we're always like putting it out there. It's always an affirmation. And so complaining is, like I said, instead of what I've learned to do instead of complaining, and this is not to say that I don't complain. Sometimes I do, but I really catch myself, is to focus on what I do want. It's so easy to focus on what you don't want, what you don't like, and all the negative, but it's like, why don't we just reframe that and focus on what it is that we do want and what we're trying to create in our life. Say you hate your boss at work and you constantly complain about what they do to you, how they are rude to you, or whatever the situation is, but you constantly complain about that. Instead of that, I think it's better to shift in what you do, what you would prefer. So instead of saying, I hate when my boss talks down to me and he's so condescending and so passive aggressive and he micromanages me, I think what the better way to go about it, yes, please acknowledge those feelings. I think it's still important to acknowledge like whatever is going on. But if the constant complaining every single day, a week, and you know, like prolonged complaining is not good. If things are happening, you do need to address it. But I think in a situation where you are complaining and you want to reframe it, is to focus on what you would prefer. Like I would love to have, I love having a boss that is supportive and gives me the freedom, and they speak to me in such a positive way. You know, it's like focusing on the positive side versus always complaining about the negative, because all you do is just reinforce that, and that becomes your reality. Like our perception is our reality, and the more you focus on negativity, the more negativity you see. But the more you focus on positivity, the more positivity you will see. And I see this in my own life. It's like the moment I go slip into a negative cycle, things just like little small things will continue to happen. That's why it's like, say if things are going really well and it just seems like things keep getting better, because it's like the better it gets, the better it gets, but the worse it gets, the worse it gets. So we always have a choice of what we're focusing on. And I feel like complaining also just drains your feminine energy. And if you want to stay juicy and feminine and soft, you need to connect more with your desires. And your desires are not problems. Like, if you desire whatever it is that you desire, stay close to that. Let it feel good, because it feels good to desire. It feels good to desire. It feels good to desire a new purse. It feels good to desire a new trip. It just feels good to desire. And it's like, that's again staying connected in our body. Complaining doesn't feel good in our body. And it's not to say we're gonna feel good all the time, which I feel like there's nothing wrong with feeling good all the time. Yeah, like that's what I strive for, is to feel good in my body majority of the time. And I'm not gonna feel good in my body if I'm complaining. Like, there's nothing that feels good about complaining. So stop that shit. Number 4 is to listen intently. Being a good listener is so underrated, and I feel like it's so crazy. Like, I feel like I have kind of been forced into this role of like just listening a lot more. I feel like the people in my life, like I am like the ear, and it's really just taught me how to listen. Like, have you ever been in a dialect with someone and they kind of overtalk everybody? They don't listen. It's bad manners. It's fucking rude, and it's just like not. I don't know, it can be very distasteful. Yeah, I think in a world where people are so consumed with themselves, and they just like are people like just so fast moving, being a good listener is just will just set you apart, and it'll make you, I think it's just overall a good quality to have. The next one is stop giving unsolicited advice. It's annoying, and unless someone specifically asks you, shut up. I had to stop doing this. Like, even if you're coming from a good place, I just don't feel like it's necessary. If someone specifically wants your advice, they will tell you. If they don't, shh. Like, just stop. It's rude. I had to stop doing this in my relationships. Like, unless someone specifically asked me for my advice, no. I'm not going to drain my energy just giving out advice to people. Number 6, let go of past hurts. I had to let go of past hurts to open myself up to receive more of what it is that I do want. When you block yourself off because you've been hurt, not only do you block yourself off from the bad, but you also block yourself off from the good. And so it's like you have to break down those walls and like heal whatever it is that happened to you and open your heart. And it's like you don't have to armor yourself up. And that's what I did for so long because I felt like I was hurt. So now I need to close myself off. But what a disservice that is to yourself, to close yourself off from hurt, because now you can't experience love to the depth that you want to. And I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want to be closed off to that. I can't experience a deep love because of things that happened to me in the past. And it's like, as a feminine woman that is constantly looking to go deeper into that and connect with myself, I have to feel the full range of my feelings. I have to feel it all. So you have to break down those walls and release whatever hurt you. Let it go. Let it go. It's just an anchor. Could you imagine? Like, imagine if we had to physically wear the things that happened to us, like in the past hurts. How heavy, how slow would you be moving, and how heavy would everything that you're carrying be? Can you imagine that? Like, if you're still carrying, if you had to carry a 1 pound weight for all the times that you've been hurt and you held on to it, how many pounds of weight would you be carrying around? Like, think about, like, I feel like that's how it just slows us down and it blocks us off. At a certain point, it would be so heavy, we wouldn't even be able to move. We wouldn't even be able to we wouldn't even be able to go forward. So it's like you have to release that. Take those weights off. Let it go. It's in the past. Acknowledge it. Feel whatever you need to feel and move on. Number 7, overworking myself into burnout. I was the queen of this in my early 20s, and let me say, I am an ambitious woman, and I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. So of course we have to work, especially if you're single, you have to work to provide for yourself. But overworking yourself to the point of burnout will drain your feminine energy quicker than nothing else. And this goes back to listening to your body. The more you're in tune with your body, the more your body will tell you when it's time for you to sit your ass down. And I feel like it'll naturally happen, because the more you're in tune, you'll know, like, okay, I've done enough. Okay, even just like noticing like the small things in your body, like, oh, my neck is hurting. Don't ignore that if your neck is hurting. Oh, my back is hurting. I've been standing. Don't ignore that. Be in tune with your body. Like, that's like, imagine you have a little kid and they're like, I'm hungry. You're not going to ignore them for 2-3 hours and not feed them if they're telling you that. If you got a baby and you need to change their diaper, you're not going to let them sit in that. So it's like we have to treat our bodies the same way. If our body is signaling like, oh, my neck is hurting, I need to do something about it. And so it's like, if you cannot overwork yourself as a woman and expect to still be feminine, like you have to balance it, and everyone's workload is different. Some women can produce at a very high level and still be in their feminine energy, which I believe is possible. You have to do what works for your body, but overworking yourself into burnout, I do not agree with, and I think you need to constantly check in with yourself. Number 8, rushing. Masculine energy is fast and focused on producing results, and feminine energy is more about like the slow and just being present in the moment. And I used to rush all the time. I lived in that energy of just like rush, go, go, go for so long. And I just realized how, like, think about when you're rushing, you're not connecting with your body. And the more you're able to just slow down and connect with yourself, I feel like you find that you're always right on time. And now that I've slowed myself down, I feel a lot better. I can just process things better and connect with myself better. And I feel like these things, like, it's like a domino effect. Once you start one, all of these things naturally kind of follow, they kind of follow each other. Number 8, I feel like I'm gonna put these two together, but it's being serious and uptight and being irritated and in a bad mood. So because I had really bad anxiety, I was always very like serious and uptight because I was just like so tense and so afraid and just so anxious and like, just always on edge. And that literally blocks your feminine energy because I feel like you're blocking yourself off from feeling anything because you're in your headspace when you're like in that energy. Even being irritated and in a bad mood, it's not to say that being mad is masculine, because that's ridiculous, because we experience all emotions. But I feel like being in a bad mood, it's just a shift of the energy, and it kind of puts this wall against you. So it's like, don't get me wrong, I crash out. Like, I do not want to make this sound like it's just lilies and roses and like, just happy all the time, because no, like now, like I express my like anger a lot more, and I love it, honestly, like, because it's like my full range of emotions. But like, I feel like being in a prolonged bad mood, it's something deeper going on in this under the surface, and that goes back to releasing, like letting go of past hurts. So I just, when I say that, it's more about like being in a bad mood because you're holding on to something that happened, and you're blocking yourself off from experiencing the full range of emotions, like I said, which are happy, mad, sad, angry, like all of the emotions. We need to feel all of our emotions. I feel like that's like a misconception of like what it means to be feminine, and be happy, and just like it's like all aesthetic of like these like performative ways to act to be feminine, when I don't think that really is feminine energy, because I think feminine energy can be expressed in so many different ranges and flavors, because women, we come in all different flavors, and I feel like our uniqueness is what makes us who we are. And feminine energy is not just like one flavor. It's not just wearing dresses and talking a certain way and all of that. It's about you expressing yourself authentically and just showing up as who you are, and so, like I said, now before I would try to like push down my emotions, and like I would inhibit myself to not fully express myself, whereas now I fully fucking feel my feelings and I express it. If I'm mad, I'm mad. If I'm sad, I'm sad. And I think that's great to just embody whatever the emotion is, but I try not to get stuck in that anger, in that bitterness, or any of that. Like, feel it, but then move out of it. Process it, then move out of it, and go back into that like blissful, peaceful state of being. Number 10 is leading when I don't have to. This was really big, especially in my marriage. Like, I feel like when you go from being a single, high achieving, driven, ambitious woman that was operating in her masculine energy to being married to a masculine man, you really have to learn how to take the back seat. Not even take the back seat, you have to learn how to surrender and let that man be a man. Like, you don't have to do all that anymore. And this was something that I really had to learn, was to just relax, like, just stop. I don't have to lead. I don't have to lead. I feel like even though when you are single, you can follow this principle if you believe in God, because God can be your leader and God will kind of guide you, in the direction that you need to go into. But when you actually have like a physical man there, and you can have him lead, then that's different. But yeah, no, I just like, when I think about like my journey of like how I was very strong headed, don't get me wrong, I still am. I still am. And I feel like it goes back to letting go of that control, because that's what we're looking for when we're trying to lead, is control. And it's like, hey, you got it. I'm about to just sit here and get in touch with my body and not think about anything. And so I just feel like the more you like cultivate these behaviors into your daily routine and incorporate these new ways of being, you can just begin to feel softer. You will feel more juicy. You will feel overall good in your body. And ultimately, I think all women we should be able to rest comfortably in our feminine energy. I feel like with the climate today, things are very like flip. The guys are in their feminine energy, the women are in their masculine energy, and we don't have to wait for men to be masculine for us to be feminine. We have the choice to be who we naturally are right now. And I think the more we operate in our natural energy, the more we will attract that polar opposite. And so I think it's so important for women to just like really truly understand what it means to be a feminine woman, because we already are that. We've just learned things that go against of who we naturally are, and all we have to do is like take those layers off and return back to who we truly are. And it can be done. It takes work. I have been on this journey for some years now, and I'm really happy with where I'm at right now, because when I tell y'all, I was a hot mess, but I love that version of me because she was doing the best that she could with what she had. And so, yeah, I hope this video was helpful and you found some valuable tips here, and I'll see you in my next video.